Breaking news. If you are sleeping less than 6 hours a night, you are not just tired. Your brain is quite literally eating itself alive right now. I know that sounds like a crazy science fiction movie, but this is the brutal truth that modern neuroscience has recently uncovered. This is not some exaggerated health myth. This is a very real biochemical reaction happening at the cellular level inside your head at this exact moment. You need to pay close attention because what I am about to reveal will permanently change the way you look at a bad night of sleep. Let us be completely honest with ourselves for a second. How many times have you stayed up until 2 in the morning, staring blindly at your phone screen, telling yourself that you will just catch up on sleep over the weekend? We have all been there. We blindly believe in this comforting concept called sleep debt. You think your body is like a bank account where you can just deposit an extra 4 or 5 hours on Sunday morning to magically pay off the biological deficit. But the terrifying truth is, you absolutely cannot. This is a dangerous psychological trap. You cannot simply reverse the profound molecular damage done to your physiological barriers with a lazy weekend sleep-in. And the billion-dollar energy drink and coffee industry wants to keep you completely in the dark about this reality. They are actively hiding the fact that their products do not actually give you real energy. They are just temporary receptor blockers. Caffeine sneaks into your brain and physically blocks the adenosine receptors, which are the vital chemical signals that tell your nervous system it is exhausted. It is a complete biological illusion. It is essentially a placebo of alertness. You feel awake, but beneath that artificial stimulation, your neurons are experiencing catastrophic cellular depletion. You are completely blind to the fact that you are forcing a biological engine to run on empty. And the engine is beginning to consume its own parts just to survive. To truly understand the gravity of this, we have to look deep into the molecular biology of your brain. Inside your skull, you have these incredible microscopic structures called astrocytes and microglial cells. In a normal, healthy, and well-rested brain, they act as the perfect biological cleanup crew. Throughout the day, as your neurons fire, communicate, and process information, they naturally produce metabolic waste. It is exactly like the toxic exhaust coming from a running car engine. When you fall asleep, these specialized glial cells sweep in and efficiently clear out all that toxic debris, keeping your neural pathways clean, sharp, and functioning flawlessly. But here is where the situation becomes genuinely horrifying. When you chronically deprive yourself of sleep, these cells do not just shut down and stop working. Instead, they go into a state of hyperactive, panicked overdrive. They become frantic, because there is so much toxic waste building up and simply not enough deep sleep time to clear it. They initiate an extreme survival process called phagocytosis. Phagocytosis literally translates from Greek as devouring cells. Yes, you heard that correctly. Your own biological cleanup crew turns rogue. They start eating the healthy, functional synapses. They consume the very connections that hold your precious memories, your sharp focus, and your daily cognitive abilities together. They are literally digesting your brain's delicate architecture because you refuse to give them the proper downtime to do their job safely. And it does not stop there. This is just the beginning of the nightmare. As these microglial cells aggressively consume your healthy synapses, they simultaneously trigger a massive, uncontrollable inflammatory response across your entire neural network. This silent inflammation begins to silently destroy the blood-brain barrier. Imagine this. The craziest part is not that you forget where you put your keys after a bad night of sleep, or that you feel a little brain fog. The truly terrifying part is the structural damage happening to your physiological barriers right now. Surrounding your delicate neural tissue is a highly selective physiological shield known as the blood-brain barrier. It is designed to be an impenetrable fortress, keeping dangerous pathogens, neurotoxins, and unwanted molecules circulating in your bloodstream from ever touching your brain cells. But as your rogue glial cells trigger chronic, system-wide inflammation from the lack of sleep, they literally burn microscopic holes through this ultimate defense system. The brutal truth is that toxins, which should have been filtered out safely by your liver and kidneys, are now leaking directly into your brain cavity. Clinical research is now strongly linking this exact mechanism to the early onset of chronic memory loss, severe cognitive decline, and neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's disease. You are essentially poisoning your own biological command center simply because you wanted to scroll through social media for one more hour. Your brain is suffocating under its own metabolic waste. But here is the turning point. You do not have to be a helpless victim of your own biology. There is a precise way to trigger a profound biological resurrection and stop this self-cannibalization immediately. To do this, we need to completely reset your system and activate a hidden physiological miracle known as the glymphatic system. Unlike the lymphatic system in your body, the glymphatic system in your brain does not have its own mechanical pump. It relies entirely on the rhythmic, slow brainwaves that only occur during the deepest, most profound stages of sleep. When you finally enter deep, slow-wave sleep, a magical biochemical reaction happens. Your actual brain cells literally shrink in size by up to 60%. Yes, they physically contract. This creates wide open channels between the neurons, allowing a powerful wave of cerebrospinal fluid to rush in and aggressively wash away all the toxic beta-amyloid proteins and metabolic debris. It is the ultimate biological reset button. It is a flawless physiological cleansing mechanism, but it only unlocks when you surrender to deep sleep. So, how do we force our modern, overstimulated bodies into this deep, restorative state and establish a golden standard for cellular repair? We have to stop relying on the artificial placebo of sleeping pills and start manipulating our fundamental biology at the source. It begins with the golden standard of circadian regulation. Pure photon exposure. The very moment you wake up, you must expose your retinas to natural morning sunlight. This is not some gentle wellness trend. This is a hardwired physiological signal. Those light photons travel directly to a cluster of nerves in your hypothalamus, setting a biological timer that dictates exactly when your pineal gland will release melatonin 14 hours later. By capturing those morning photons, you are mathematically locking in your molecular clock. Next, you must master the thermal switch of your core body temperature. To initiate the sleep sequence, your nervous system requires your internal core temperature to drop by exactly 1 to 2 degrees. You can hack this mechanism by taking a hot shower before bed, or even doing something as simple as wearing warm socks. This causes rapid vasodilation in your hands and feet, expanding the blood vessels and violently pushing the trapped heat out of your core. It signals to your central nervous system that it is time to power down. It is a biological switch you can flip on demand. Finally, you must ruthlessly cut off the toxic artificial light from your screens at least an hour before you intend to sleep. Blue light from your phone is a literal neurotoxin to your pineal gland. It actively suppresses your natural hormone production, blinding your brain and tricking it into thinking the sun is still directly overhead. In other words, fixing your sleep is not about buying expensive supplements or downloading another meditation app. It is about deeply respecting the profound, ancient biological machinery inside your head. It is about giving your cells the exact chemical environment they desperately need to heal, to clear the toxic waste, and to rebuild the vital connections that make you who you are. The choice is now entirely yours. Tonight, when you look at the clock and consider staying up for just one more hour of mindless scrolling, ask yourself this one simple question. Are you going to feed your brain the restorative rest it needs to thrive? Or are you going to sit back, stare at your screen, and let your brain literally feed on itself? The power to stop the damage is in your hands. Thank you so much for watching. If this video opened your eyes to the hidden science of your own body, please hit that subscribe button Like this video and share it with someone who desperately needs to hear this truth. Take care of your biology.